It made CNN. I cannot believe this thing made CNN. Man, I'll say this, the WNBA has came a long way in such a small period of time. Oh, man. I think, man, I'll say this is a mistake from the WNBA. Even though it is, you know, I'm all about meritocracy, but I do believe exceptions are made for exceptional people. And I think an exception should have been made here. I definitely think an exception should have been made. Exceptions are made for exceptional people. When Cristiano Ronaldo went into Saudi Arabia, right? And they know it's against the law to just having a living girlfriend. They made an exception for Ronaldo. That's how it that's how it works, man. That's usually how it works. Let's check some Twitter. Let's check some Twitter. Let's check Twitter. Let's see what they got to say about this. And fair use. Seeing some things about Kai Cenat. I don't know what's going on. Oh, they disrespecting her already. Oh, I'll say this. I did like this. This is one thing though that the WNBA players, I hope they're ready for. Now that the WNBA stream is now more accessible to the casuals and the normies, you're gonna have to also deal with normie and casual reporting. So let me open this right here, because I saw this earlier. I was laughing because unfortunately, what you're gonna have to deal with when you are a mainstream athlete, you're gonna have to deal with mainstream reporters, and these reporters, it's like they're some of the things that they say will blow your mind. Not only that, the baiting questions that they will do, they will bait you. So I don't know who this particular WNBA player is, but I do have to give her props because the reporter here that I'm about to play, he's the reporter here, he's going to try to bait her into throwing her teammates under the bus. Watch this here.
Khalil, this looks like the bench production. You didn't get a lot of it in this game here. Talk about what they need to do going forward.
You said what?
The bench. Not score a lot in this game here, give you a lot of production. What do you have to do next in the next few games to help you guys most likely get to the next level?
What does the bench have to do?
Yes.
What did you?
I was saying that the bench didn't give a lot of production today in this game here. What do they got to do to help you all out as what they did in the previous game?
What they got to do? What they do last game? That's a real question. You for real?
No, what I'm asking is just really trying to get an idea of what they need to do.
So what the bench do the last game?
They actually played well. They played well.
So what they do this game?
Today they didn't do well this game.
Okay, so what they got to do? Score, right? Yep. All right, bet. That's it, right? Yep. That's the main question.
Hey, yo, man.
This looks like the bench production. You didn't get it.
Look, I know, I'll say this. I do know that there will be people in our space that will say she's being disrespectful or whatnot, but this is actually the right response, because what the reporter here is trying to do is what a lot of, like I said, now that you're dealing with the mainstream, you got to deal with the normie reporters that come with it. And when you're dealing with the normie reporters, the questions that they will do to you, like they will just give you bait ass questions. You answer it honestly, or you answer it, without PR training. Then they're gonna make a story about you saying that you threw your teammates under the bus by saying that the bench needs to do better. That's a bait. That's what you call a bait question. And unfortunately, since the WNBA is now getting more mainstream attention, you're gonna have to start dealing with more mainstream reporters. And when you're dealing with more mainstream reporters, you're dealing with nonsense and bait ass questions like this, to where you're gonna have there's certain WNBA players you're gonna need to start hiring PR people to help you deal with these reporters, because they will do this to you and then say that you're the bad guy for not answering a bait question. That's what they will do, you know. Pyro said, nah, no more sports streams. But I'll say this, for this particular video, I didn't look at any other because I will say this too, because I've noticed this. There's a lot of particular fan base, like conservative dudes, that are now trying to act like they know the WNBA. It's interesting, because now the great thing, like what's happening with the WNBA is great, is because Caitlin Clark has her fan base of people, and then you have people that are kind of anti Caitlin Clark and kind of jealous that she's the golden child. And then so what's happening is now you have these two groups of people. Now they have to do their research on the WNBA players just so they can make their favorite player look good. So this is actually I'm talking about conservatives and casuals and all these people now naming off certain WNBA players. Caitlin Clark is not even better than her. I'm like, who the hell is that? I'm just like, I thought men didn't care about women's sports. I thought the conservatives was laughing with me when I saw certain women's sports events. But now people are doing the research behind these players. People are like, man, Caitlin Clark is not even better than this. Or you'll have the conservatives, defending Caitlin Clark because they feel like she's being attacked due to racism, which is a factor. Like, I'm not going to be dishonest. That is a factor, but I do feel for the WNBA players in this sense, that I don't think they don't want a certain player getting the Tom Brady treatment. And I didn't like Tom Brady getting the no touching treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you're not even allowed to touch him, and it's you breathe on him and it's a flat. I didn't like that either. So I get it. Trust me, from the WNBA players' perspective, I get that. Trust me. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, this is how American sports work. It's mostly entertainment. It's about who can get ratings. This is why referees will rig certain games to make sure certain teams win. You know what I mean? They'll let certain games get called a certain way. One game you can play aggressive, one and then the next game you can't even touch certain players. So now you got so with Caitlin Clark's snub from the WNBA, you have people citing racism and all this stuff. It's really just player hating at a grand scan. Now, obviously, I don't think Caitlin Clark is one of the 12 best players in the WNBA, but if you want the money, that revenue money, right, when it comes to ratings, when it comes to all that entertainment and all that stuff, exceptions have to be made. That's how sports works in America. Sports work in America. In America is not really a meritocracy, unfortunately. And I think women are starting to learn that now that the WNBA is being incorporating more into the mainstream in terms of sports debate shows and topics. Now, I think women are realizing, look, men haven't really been dealing with the meritocracy. Not in America. Not in America. Like in America, let me show you how things work in America on a men's side, right? So I hope WNBA players are not shocked, but this is what, if they want more money, this is the stuff that you got to deal with. You could be, I'm talking about, you can be on a D1 team and you're a walk-on, right? And you'll have 2 players on the team, on the D1 basketball team. This was before NIL, right? And you're playing better than the 2 players that are getting paid under the table, right? I don't care how good you're doing in practice, you're never going to get more playing time than the players that are getting paid. Is same thing in the NBA. You can be I'm telling you, they could have just signed a player for say $50 million, $70 million, 4 years, whatever. 3 years, 3 years, $100 million. That guy that's getting paid 3 years, $100 million, he's not going to see the bench. I don't care how bad he is in practice or how bad he's looking in the first couple of games. He's not going to get benched. And I'm talking about, you can be getting paid $500,000 a year and showing him up because you're getting paid $500,000 a year. You're not going to get any playing time. I'm sorry. The people with that drop, the money people play. That's how it works. That's how sports in America works, and I don't like that. That's not really meritocracy if you really think about it. You know, like I said, I've said I don't even like how sports is done here in America. But since the WNBA players, because I'm telling you, I'm being fair here. Since the WNBA players, they want a certain money, they wanted a certain fan base to start following. Now here you have it. People just think that men in these professions were getting a fair shake. No, they weren't. This is about ratings, entertainment, draw. Why do you think the Indiana Fever, even though they like one of the worst teams in the league, even though they're one of the worst teams in the league, they're still drawing how many? 14,000 people. Like they had to move to an NBA arena because they were selling out so many tickets. That's how American sports work. It's not meritocracy. It's ratings based. I always tell people, if you want to get a taste of what sports really is, watch The Boys. Watch The Boys on Amazon. It basically tells you how politics works, how sports works in America. It literally shows you what it does. All right. Oh, so right here. So Pyro says, she's a white woman. So exactly, because people who were trying to, but she's, they was trying to tell me, what's the bitch name from USC? Paige Watkins. Oh, she's better than her, and she's gonna be. The WNBA is already used to seeing girls like Watkins or an Angel Reese. It's rare that you have a Caitlin Clark that kind of represents middle of white America, right? Middle white America. So she has that draw. So it's rare to see a girl like her dusting ninjas, right? In the WNBA. So that's part of it, So it is what it is, But like I said, if they want to make money, they need to ride this train out. I'm not saying don't give her no rough treatment. I'm not saying take it easy on her, but I just hope they understand, if they want to make the money that they want to make, this is what they have to do. In America, that's how sports is there, because remember this in America. This is not like how like in Europe, South America, where the main sports are soccer and cricket and all this. Remember, there's no promotion, there's no relegation. The semi-pro teams and the other quote unquote professional teams underneath the minor league teams, they just stay there. They can't be promoted to major leagues. They just stay there. You got the farm teams under the pro. There's no promotion. There's no relegation. So then on top of that, whoever the worst teams in America, they get rewarded with higher draft picks so they can get better players to help their team win in the future. It's not really, there's no meritocracy in American sports, really. Maybe on paper, but it's not. So what the WNBA players are going to have to learn, this is everything that comes with it. Pyro said B-dubs hate other races of women who are not them. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, I've come to that conclusion. Unfortunately, there's a lot of BWs that people talk about self-hate when, they talk about self-hate, but I'll say BWs, they project their self-hate like really, it's really bad. It's really bad. Like people talk about who needs to save Black love, but I'm like, BWs are rude. They're killing Black love. And my proof is, look at Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles. Dude, just look up any post about Simone Biles. It's just full of Black women disrespecting Jonathan Owens. I swear on it. Just look up any post on Instagram where the page is saying, this is where Simone Biles broke the record. This is Simone Biles doing her routine over here. And the comments are nothing about her routine, her score, her gymnastics, her accomplishments. It's just about her husband. Saying, oh, I don't know who her husband name is, trying to be petty against Jonathan Owens. It is full of Black women disrespecting Jonathan Owens. Saying, oh, we don't know who that woman husband is and all this. And I'm like, you're just like, y'all still on that? I'm just like, it's like how many months later, and they still disrespecting Jonathan Owens over that? They still mad that Jonathan Owens was like, oh yeah, as a man, I just believe, I believe men are the prize. They still mad that he said that. They still mad that he said that. Like, I knew like the hate was so irrational where, remember when Jonathan Owens was deep in the playoffs with the Packers, it was like hordes of BWs like praying that the Packers lose just because Jonathan Owens was on the team. You're just like, what? I'm like, there's no hope. There's no hope. There's no hope. And yeah, there are a lot of BWs projecting their self-hatred on Caitlin Clark. They're like, it's really bad. Like, it's really bad. You know what I mean? And also, let me bring up the whole meritocracy thing in terms of the sports. Let me bring up an example, because like I said, I don't like how sports is done in America. I hate how sports is done in America. There's no promotion, no relegations. There's no incentives for like an owner or a small time owner or a player to just start a club from the ground up because the club can't go anywhere. Like, you can start your club in England from like the 10th tier, and then maybe 20 years later it could end up in the Barclays Premier League. Like it could happen. That's how beautiful the system is, where you can start a club and maybe it might take 30 years. Maybe it might take 30 years. Maybe it might take 5. Maybe it might take 10. And that club could end up getting promoted all the way to the big time, to the top, whatever the top tier league is in that country. That's what I love about European soccer. But like I said, when it comes to the main sports in America, there's no promotion, there's no relegation. And so the problem is, with no promotion and no relegation, everything is just, it's not, the right players don't get promoted. You're not really developing the real talents. You know what I mean? And the example that I was going to bring is this. Let me see something real quick. I want to bring up the 2020 Champions League final. So this is another soccer's example I'm going to bring up. The 2020 Champions League final. It was between Bayern, if I'm not mistaken, it was between PSG and Bayern Munich. Starting lineups, right? Because what's beautiful about European soccer, they could literally have just paid somebody $50 million. If you're not in form, you're not playing. If you're injured a little bit, you're not playing. If there's a 18 or 19-year-old dusting you in your position, you're not playing. And they could have just paid you 50 million. They could have just paid you all this money. They could have literally just bought you from a club for like $50 million, $60, $70 million. If you're not good, if you ain't doing well, if you didn't do well in preseason, if you're not doing well in training, you're not playing. Bottom line, this is real meritocracy overseas. Now, unfortunately, European soccer is now starting to mirror some of these toxic things that we do in American sports, and I don't like where that's going. But I want to show you something. The lineups. Okay, I'm on the Bayern Munich website, right? So I want to show you guys something because I found it interesting when I had watched this game in 2020. Okay, who was on the bench? Okay, so that day, I don't know, is that the right game? Yep, that's the right game. 2020, the Champions League final, that was in August 23rd. This was because during the pandemic, they had to push all the games like 2 or 3 months later. So in that game, it was interesting. They had put in defense, they had Joshua Kimmich at right back, Boateng and Alaba at center back. And Alaba is not even a center back, but they started experimenting with him there. And they experimented with Alphonso Davies at left back. Now, Alphonso Davies, when he came to Bayern Munich, he was an attacking player, but they found out that he was basically better for that team playing at the left side of defense. So they switched him there. And basically that ended up taking David Alaba's spot at left back. And what David Alaba started doing is he started playing center defense, and he ended up playing really well for that team. Now, this is where I'm going with this. On that bench for Bayern Munich had literally they had 2 or 3 record-breaking in terms of defenders, meaning these are the most expensive defenders in the world, and they were on the bench for the Champions League final, the biggest, cup final game across all, nations in Europe, right? The biggest club final game across all European clubs in Europe. And you had record-breaking defenders on the bench, particularly Benjamin Pavard, Lucas Hernandez, and who else? Nicholas Sewell. So these 3 players. Do you not understand how if I showed you how expensive these players were, it would blow your mind. You'd be like, they paid almost $100 million for this. Yep. Put them straight on the bench. Why? Because they're not informed. They were not making the team better. It's none of that 2 years and 3. Oh yeah, they got 2 years and 3 years like they do like in the NFL where they let the quarterback be asked for 2 or 3 years, and then by the 4th year with his contract, then he does well. No. They don't do that shit over there in Europe. If you're not playing well, you're not playing well. Philip Coutinho, if I'm not mistaken, he was on loan, but they were still paying his wages. He was expensive as hell too, on the bench. Corentin Tolisso, they had just recently bought him at the time, I think if I'm not mistaken, but I think I'm wrong on that. But he was pretty expensive. I remember when Bayern bought him, he was expensive as hell on the bench. He always struggled for playing time when he was um at Bayern. I'm telling you, guys, I'm telling you, in Europe, they don't care. Like, bro, you can be the most expensive mother, you know what? In Europe, they go by form. They don't go by your name, how much you get paid. You know what I mean? So if we actually move to this model, there'll be a lot of people that would stop making money. So this is the thing that we got to understand. If we actually had meritocracy, there'll be a lot of players that we know making zero money. I'm talking about zero money. Oh man. But yeah, what comes with it when you're dealing with mainstream America, when you're dealing with mainstream America and their sports and their coverage, you're dealing with the normies. You're dealing with the normies. You're dealing with the normies. But let's see. They disrespecting Caitlin Clark right here, man. But okay, so let's look at the official who they selected. AJ Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, Brittany Griner, Jewel Lloyd, Diana Taurasi, Chelsea Gray, Nafisa Collier, Alyssa Thomas, Kalia Cooper, and Jackie Young. So these are the players that they played. Now, this is where I got to get on the conservatives here, right? Because there was a lot of them saying that it was racism. so I saw this tweet earlier, just like, oh, so you an advocate for DEI now. And it's funny though when I see like conservatives like arguing about Caitlin Clark and why Caitlin Clark should be basically be the queen of everybody, but it's like I'll be like, I thought they didn't care about women's sports like that. What's going on? You know what I mean? It's almost like seeing conservatives, particularly Caucasian male conservatives, arguing about why Caitlin Clark should be getting special treatment. They really believe that like Caitlin Clark should be like lifted up in the air like Jesus Christ, right? But them arguing about women's sports and how it would make women's sports better, it's almost like how, you know, how like when China at first was like, we don't want anybody boring, we don't want women giving birth to daughters. If you give birth to one too many women in your family, then we're gonna kill the daughter or whatever. Basically, the daughter is gonna be deleted. And then now, after generations of doing that, now they're asking those same women, "Oh man, we need daughters." You think? Like what? And so now you're asking them to do that, and they're just like, no. So this is where I have to side with the woman. You told them for generations they can't give birth to daughters. I don't know why they were doing that. I'm like, because I remember when I saw this when I was a kid, I'm like, that's not good for the future. That can't be good for the future because you're gonna definitely need daughters in the future, for if you want to have families, you know, women giving birth. But like I said, the Chinese government was very nearsighted with that. You know, I'll say this too, a lot of men particularly, they're too caught up in legacy. I want to build a legacy and all this nonsense, and so a little bit too much men are a little bit too caught up in, quote unquote legacy, they want their kid to be something that is not really necessary to be in life. So they get caught up in this whole legacy nonsense. Pyro said, man, her hater's just as bad as that girl who threatened to leave her friend if she gets with the guy on the video. Oh, yeah, I should show that video. That was wow. It's wow, because you'll see women do stuff like that in real life, and you're just like, why would you even? It's like, bruh. And Harps and Desire, he said something interesting in the comment section. Like, when it comes to people talk about white Karens and black women doing their thing, I will say this: Asian women get away with murder. They let Asian women be getting away with murder because they be buying fully into the they really be fitting in to the what Americans are looking for, and they end up being very toxic. Like Americanized Asian women can get, I'm talking about the most toxic of them all. And Harps and Desire was in the comment section. He was pointing that out. So thank you for pointing that out. So Garrett Grant said, damn, they really left Caitlin Clark off USA roster for Griner's goofy ass. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure Griner's there because she's one of the better big men, quote unquote, in there. But like I said, Diana Taurasi, she's kind of washed, low key, no disrespect, but I was you gotta find a way to put I'll say this. I know I'm pro meritocracy, but I believe exceptions need to be made for exceptional people. And this is an exceptional situation where you have an opportunity to help the league get to a different level, and to leave Caitlin Clark off now, who's to say 4 years from now anybody's going to be checking for the WNBA? Who's to say that Caitlin Clark 4 years from now will be playing in the WNBA? What if she decides to do something else? What if she decides to play basketball in Europe? Even though she'll still obviously represent Team USA. But what if she decides to go a different route? So that's why I say strike while the iron is hot. Put her on the team. You don't need all these carpet munchers on the, on the team. Take one of these people out. Take one of these hoes out. And that is kind of funny to have Griner on that team after everything she did, disrespecting America, just for the Americans to trade her out. One of the worst trades I ever seen in my life. To trade somebody that was literally called the Merchant of Death for some ungrateful chick. I mean, one of the worst trades I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, what's up, Garrett, man? What's up, man? Shout out to any war band members coming through, man. Shout out to y'all. But like, this is you know what I mean? Like I said, American sports really isn't about a meritocracy. So I don't know why they want to start it now. I don't know why they want to do it now. Yeah, I get it. Caitlin Clark might not be okay. She's not the top 12 players, but that hasn't stopped Team USA in the past. They've added players on their teams, I'm talking about for the men. They've added players, left off certain players off the team, just purely off of politics. So when it comes to just growing the sport, getting more eyes on the television, why would you leave out Caitlin Clark? That's a massive opportunity missed. That's a massive opportunity missed. And by the way, I've been seeing too many normies getting mad at Stephen A. Smith and praising Monica McNutt, even though she made 0 sense. And she was actually wrong about Stephen A. Smith not promoting women's sports, just in general. But unfortunately, like I said, because people don't like Stephen A. Smith, and I don't really like him either, to be fair. But people still got to be objective. Monica McNutt, she was wrong. She was wrong about Stephen A. Smith. But anyway, let me bring up. Somebody said to bring up that video because women can be such haters, bro. Let's keep it a buck. Like it's pretty clear with the Caitlin Clark situation. It's clear that the hate is like, this is a great opportunity. You got to use her, because if Caitlin Clark succeeds, everybody's gonna get paid. Everybody's gonna get paid more money. All the women are gonna be able to get in on this action, but they just are just so full of hate. A lot of the women, a lot of the female commentators are full of hate. A lot of the women, just in general, a lot of pro-black male simps are just following whatever black women are saying on this attitude, but they're really projecting their self-hate on Caitlin Clark. But they don't understand, if Caitlin Clark does well, the more that she does well, the more money everybody else is going to get paid. So when she asked, remember, to charter flights, that's because of her. And everybody was able to benefit off that because she wanted it. This is how it works. This is how American sports work. And if you want in on this American sports money, that's what you're going to have to do. You got to include Caitlin Clark in the madness. But let me show you a video, right? Because I don't like, women can be such haters, bro. Like, I'm like very vicious, like vipers. Like they're like, they can be really vicious. They can be very vicious with the hate, with the with what they say. Like, I used to think, as a man, like me personally, I can get, like, if I get mad, I'll say some things like really personal. Like that happened to me today when I was playing pickup. But women will really go there, to where, like, even me, I'll be shocked. I'll be like, damn, like, that's pretty vicious, bro. So I'm gonna show you a video that I did a video on this today, but let me show you the video real quick. Let me show you the video. Let me show you the video. Oh, shoot. Let me refresh it. Okay, that's awkward. Let's play it right here.
Can I date your friend?
No. Wait, why not? He's like not cute. Like, I don't want that for you. Don't say that. What? I don't want that for you. Like, what fucking weirdo?
I'm not what?
Cute. You're not cute.
Oh.
Do you fucking think he's cute? I mean, sorry, like, it's your own choice, but like, I actually like won't talk to you anymore if you say yes. I'm sorry.
Can I date your?
Like, that's crazy. I think he has to have more videos on this where he's asking specific women, "Can I date your friend?" Now, like, it's crazy. Like, the venom that she already is, almost like she turned into something else. Like, she was just mad just at the thought of, "Can I date your friend?" And she was just mad. This Asian girl right here, she's only friends with this Jewish girl right here because she thinks that she's better than her. So she'll have her tag along to make herself look good. Now, this guy goes, and she probably rejected him at first. We're probably missing that context. So that's so he goes, "Can I date your friend?" And wow, it's just like, she just goes, it's almost like she turns into Venom. She's just, and that thing at the end where she goes, "Look, if you even find him cute, I'm not even gonna talk to you anymore." This is stuff like, I would hear this stuff in elementary school, and it's like, damn, those kindergarten, first grade, second, third grade games, these mental games where if you don't do this, you're not my friend. And if like I'm like, they be in their 20s and they still doing this shit. They still doing that playground bullshit. If you talk to him, you're not my friend anymore. Like, what? And they be in their 20s doing this stuff. And you're just like, I hope that trust me, yes. Trust me, she's Jewish. Trust me. Yes. Yes. Yeah, she's definitely Jewish. But that's besides the point. Do you know how many women are dealing with women like that? Where basically, this is why only a small percentage of men can do what they do. Because it's either this is why they're getting played out there too. Because only the top chads can be able to bypass this filter. Because really, if the Jewish girl was really into the dude, she would be like, man, fuck with my friend things. I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna give you a shot, right? So only the you basically only the chads and the top chads and the Tyrones and men that are good at manipulating women to do what they want to do. Those are the only dudes that can get past that poison, that poisonous wall, the cock blocking from the friends. Those are so basically you can only be a Chad, and if you're not a Chad, you need to be almost as venomous as that Asian girl so you can bypass that filter so you can get what you want. So basically only the ruthless, PUAs and the Chads can get past that filter, right? This is why most women are getting played right now. Because you'll just have decent guys and you'll probably have a decent woman that probably doesn't want to, that's looking at a dude who's like, okay, he doesn't have to be a Chad. Let me just see. And then you'll have a friend like this because really she's jealous that the guy's not into her. So she's saying, no, he's not. He's not cute. That's what they'll do because she's mad that he didn't want her. He probably asked her out first and he's like, oh, okay, how about can I go out with your friend? And then once she did that, it's a problem. Then all of a sudden he's not cute and it's crazy. And shout out to Shinobi One. Man, shout out to more members of the war band. Shout out to you guys. Salute to you guys. But it's like that is poisonous. People with that personality, that's crazy. Because people already know, like, I'll say this, with my personality, if I get mad, especially like say like today on the soccer field, people they did not want to get me upset. You know what I mean? So I already know I got that thing in me where I'm like two people when I'm playing sports. I'm like two different people, and I know that about myself. So I try to make sure I stay even keel, and it's not necessarily the opponents that have to deal with me. As long as an opponent, as long as you're not doing no dirty shit, it is all good. But I'll still give you an elbow from time to time if you think you can get near. So it is what it is. But if say particularly today, it was a trash ass player trying to talk crazy about my game, even though I'm usually the one carrying my team. And I'm just like, bro, stop. You're just not. The way I'm man marked is not the same way you man marked. Like I was trying to tell the dude, like, bro, you lose the ball when nobody's on you. I'm constantly, I got 2-3 people on me easily. It is not, I'm talking about, it's not even a debate, bro. Like, even when I used to play official games, because my problem is I always got to show off. So or I'm always put in a position where, or I put myself in a position where I gotta out dribble 2 people on me, and really I should look for the first pass first before I dribble. So they'll see that I can get past 2, 3 players, and they're like, nah, fuck that. We man marking him off rip. So I gotta learn, and I still, I'm good at this now, right? But if you're playing with certain pickup players and they know you, they know who to mark. They know who to mark, especially if you're playing with like 2 or 3 players that are not even, they know that they're gonna lose the ball. So they're like, okay, all we gotta do is worry about you. So that kind of got to me today. And I was just like, and one of the guys that don't even get marked was mad at me because I lost the ball a couple times. And I'm like, bro, like the way I'm marked is not the way you're marked. I'm like, bro, I literally told this dude, I was like, bro, the goals you scored were completely by accident. You kicked the ball off somebody and it came back to you. My goals, I'm like, bro, like the way I'm marked is not the. So I said, watch. I basically turned it to I turned it to Birdie back. I was like, watch how you speak to me. So I know that about myself. I know that about myself. I know I'm like 2 different people on the field. So I understand if people could be like, don't get Chris mad or whatever. You know, I can turn it to Kobe Bryant. Remember when Kobe Bryant, like his the practice that went viral with him talking crazy to Jeremy Lin? Do y'all remember that? hold on for a sec. Because I just want to give you a visual representation of what I can turn into from time to time. That like it don't like I'm talking about it don't even matter the setting. You know, hold on for a second. Let me see if I can bring that up. Kobe Bryant, Jeremy Lin practice. That was hilarious. That's one of the when he was cursing out his teammates. That was the fun. That's one of my favorite Kobe Bryant moments of all time. Put them out their misery, coach. That was hilarious. You know what I mean? So like Kobe Bryant, like you go off like that. That should be funny, man. I low key turn into that today. And also like, I was like, there was this one player, right? And we did like 3 games, which we shouldn't have done. We just should have just done the 1 game, and then the last 2 were washes because people checked out. People checked out, and I didn't even go off until the 2nd game on one of my players. But what had happened was there was one particular player, for some reason, the defenders could not handle. Now, I'm not a defender, but I was just trying to tell the guys, he's going one direction with his right foot. He's not going to do no reverse pass. He's doing the same thing. I'm like, you guys got to pay attention to patterns. You guys got to pay attention to patterns. This is crazy. Now, what I have to also understand, me, and I'm still working on that shit, but unfortunately what happens is when I was a kid playing soccer, the problem is playing soccer in Connecticut, if you are a black player and you're playing with white players, if you make one mistake, you're fucked. So I still got that shit in me where it's like literally I got to play perfect. Even if I'm the best player on the team, I got to play perfect. For like I have to play perfect or it's going to be a problem. Or I'm going to be the one getting called out. That's the problem when you play certain sports like lacrosse, hockey, and these heavily gatekeep sports, which particularly soccer is not supposed to be gatekeep like that. And it's changed, and it's definitely changed from when I was playing. But I still got that shit with me. So it'll just shock me when I see players with no pressure on them, and they'll just fuck up. You'll just be like, how is that? You'll just wonder, like, how is that possible? You'll be like, how is that even possible? Like, people talk about Caitlin Clark getting treatment. Yo, I used to get really bad treatment from the opposition because they knew I was the most creative player. And unfortunately, that was my fault too, because some of the teams I played with, that I stayed with, I should have been more adventurous in terms of, let me play for a better club team so I can go farther in life. You know. But that's the thing. If you are a black, I'm saying, like, if you are a black creative player, meaning you play in the center mid, you play center forward, which I played center forward right behind the striker, or if you play wing, right, which was a mistake with me. But if you're playing one of these creative positions where you're in a position where you're the most creative player on the team, and they put you in the wrong position, or if they put you in the right position, if you do like one or two mistakes, you're fucked. Now, what happens is Mexican players, no disrespect to the Mexican players, they literally let Mexican players run riot with the ball, even though they're not doing that well either. They let these guys dribble, no consequence, meaning they could lose the ball and they could just do whatever just because they're Mexican, right? Then you'll have the Caucasian players, right? And they'll have more leniency in terms of, if they fuck up on a pass, they could still get benched and all that stuff, right? But the international players that come and play in America, they have a lot more leniency than American players, just because they're international players, even though I've never gotten that, because I'm like, bro, if he's losing a ball, no matter what nationality or whatever ethnicity you are, it's hurting the team. But I knew, like, me, I'm talking about, I remember I was the best player for one of my team. I fucked up like 3 or 4 times, meaning I completed 2 passes, right? This is one of my last club games for a specific team when I was 15 or 16 years old. Completed 2 passes, right? Next 2 minutes, I didn't run for 2 of the, like, two runs I didn't make. And it was like, just 2 runs, I just didn't make it. I got benched right away. Right away. High school, when I was a freshman, right, for my high school team, varsity, made 2, like, playing well. First 2 or 3 games, played well, damn near flawless. But anytime I was trying to dribble, it was a problem. Anytime I dribble, it was a problem. Literally, so I had to, like, my dribbles had to be perfect. All my one-on-ones had to be 100% because I was going to hear from it. I'm talking about, I wasn't even losing the ball when I was dribbling and they were yelling at me, right? Compared to the players that I would see in the future play for my high school. And like I said, it was a predominantly white high school. And people warned me about this too. So I can't really complain too much about it. People did warn me about this. So I can't complain too much. People warned me about this coming in. And like, people that saw me play, they was like, you know, some of these coaches, they be on there, you know, they're Portuguese. And they'll hint at me with certain shit. Right. So one bad game. I had one interesting game, and we, like I said, we lost 1-0 that game. First 10 minutes, I wasn't finding my rhythm. Took me off, didn't put me back on. And then I remember, like, even like later on, they try to double roster me on JV. I'm like, damn it, am I not even gonna get it? Like, I played flawless for the first 3 games. I had one bad game, and then now you want to double roster me? What's going on? But that's what it is. That was how it's like, especially when you're talking about 2012, being one of the only black players on like an all-white team. If you not cutting it, I'm talking about, you got to be damn near flawless. You have to be flawless. You know, it's not like that now. But like I said, so I have that shit stuck with me because I'm always playing with predominantly white players, whatever. I know if I fuck up, it's gonna be it's a problem. So I have to learn to allow people to grow when I'm playing with them because most players did not have to play with that kind of pressure. So I have to allow them to be, if I'm playing with players that are not that good, I have to allow them to make mistakes. So I'll tell them, look, I don't grill them. Like if they fuck up in the final third, I don't even grill them. I just let it go. Now I'll tell them, just don't fuck up in the back because the goal is right there. So we can't be doing that, you know? But me personally, I had to learn to be like, you got to give people space to fuck up and not to necessarily take that frustration out on random people just because I went through it in high school or college, right? So that's something I had to work on. Let me see. Oh, I missed a lot of comments. Let me see. Shinobi once said, just finished working on my farmlands with my dad, not paid for, but the work we did isn't taxed either. So we own all that we have done. Now I sit 420 time while I relax for a spell. Man, shout out to you because that's where it's at right now. Dude, I recently went to this guy's land in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm just telling you, there are people that have properties, like real properties, bruh. And I'm really looking at the fruits of people's labors. And me and the bass player, when I was on tour, where we was at these people's spot, we're just like, this is what we need to do. This is how we got to get. We got to get to that, man. This was like the land that they had, and then they had like a whole grassway pathway to the dock. I was like, oh my God, this is where I need to be. You know? Shinobi One says professional sports arenas are paid for by our taxes, so the elite's adult children can play games for massive amounts of money we the people could never even dream of obtaining. That's the game. That's the game. Oh man. One bad game, your trophy wife leaves you and the coach benches you. Your sponsorships dry up and boom, you lost it. The ball ain't in your court no more. And on top of that, like I said, let's expound on that. Because there are certain players that applies to, right? I'm not talking about race now. I'm talking about when you're dealing with professional sports, when you see certain players that are getting hated on, right? The reason why they're getting hated on is because they might have a certain agent, right? Or the player doesn't have a good relationship with the media. Why do you think Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame? It's not because of what he did or allegedly didn't do with steroids, because they've done the stats. They showed from where they think he allegedly did the steroids. He already had won 4 MVPs. He has 4 National League MVPs. So that's not what it really is. And they've already put people that have been on steroids or on some HGH, whatever. They already put them in the Hall of Fame. The reason why he went through what he went through is because he didn't fuck with the media at all. The reason why Russell Westbrook has a bad name is because he doesn't fuck with the media at all, right? Kyrie Irving, same thing, close to the same thing. Let me bring up Floyd Mayweather, right? The reason why Floyd Mayweather started getting hated on out of nowhere is because he bought he was under Bob Arum and he decided to buy his own contract out so he could get out of Bob Arum's shadow, so he can be free to do what he wants to do in terms of picking his own fights, picking his own gloves, picking his own arena, probably even picking his own judges. You know what I'm saying? So this is all part of it, right? And Shinobi One is right. One bad game, your trophy wife leaves you and the coach benches you, your sponsorships dry up, and boom, you lost it. The ball ain't in your court. Like, do you know how many people I see that happen to? And it's not like, because what happens, there are a lot of players out there, a lot of athletes that have no protection, meaning they don't have the right agent, Lamar Jackson. They don't have the right they don't have the right sponsorships, Kawhi Leonard. Right? They don't have the right PR team, Kyrie Irving. Right? I keep trying to tell people LeBron James and Michael Jordan, they're smart. Particularly LeBron James, he's smart. He made sure he paid people in the media, because that's what, as an athlete, what you have to do. You got to pay people in the media, or put players that are, you got to make your own, because he has his own. LeBron James has his own agency, right? With his guys, Maverick Carter, Rich Paul, and there. So he makes sure that people that are part of Clutch Sports, he makes sure they're in ESPN. They do reporting. You got Clutch Sports reporter. You got Clutch Sports clients as reporters. So they make sure that if anything negative is being said about LeBron James, or say if any news comes out of LeBron James about him saying, if he was, say if they found reports of him allegedly taking HGH or steroids, right? They can bat that. They're not going to show it. But if it came out against Kyrie Irving, it would be a problem, because he doesn't have the right agency. He doesn't have the right agents. He doesn't have the right PR people around him. He doesn't have the right media training. When LeBron James was 16, they made sure he was perfectly media trained. So by the time he got into the league, he already knew what the reporters were going to say. It's media training, who you have in your PR team, is more important than what you do on the court. And it's unfortunate that's how it works, but that's how it works. Because if you want to do it the pure way, right? You don't want to be manipulating people through the media. You don't want to sign this small hat as your agent. You want to try something else. You want to do it the right way. Then what Shinobi Wan said, that's going to apply to you. One bad game, your trophy wife leaves you and the coach benches you, your sponsorships dry up, and boom, you lost it. The ball ain't in your court no more. If you're not knowing people, if you're not good at making friends, that's kind of up my alley. If you're not that, if you fucking up, if you not cutting the mustard, and I'm talking about, you could be playing perfect. If you don't know the right people, you're fucked. Meaning you have one bad, I'm talking about, it just takes one bad game and you're done. That's how it's gonna work. Like, that's all it takes. I know, especially up on my alley when it comes to things, because I ended up moving to a lot of schools. I've never really stayed in one district for more than 3 or 4 years. So I'm always the new kid everywhere I go. So I have to make a good impression. I have to. If I don't, I'm fucked. And I'll say this is what has helped me in the music industry, because I don't talk shit about my peers. I'm respectful. I show up on time. I try to be nice and courteous to everybody. I try to ingratiate myself with most, even though I don't be going out drinking. I don't do, I don't drink, I don't smoke or anything. But I try myself to be the best professional that I can be. And because I do that, sometimes it's enough. sometimes it's enough. And that has been helping me in terms of in the music. But like, when it comes to sports, like I said, like it's not even a matter like being all that. No, you have to, like, I'll say this, unfortunately, and this happened at my high school. There were certain players playing because their parents were a part of certain charities, certain events. No disrespect to these people because I know these people, but that's what would happen. And not just not just at my school, but other people's school. It's rare that you can, like I said, like what Shinobi wanted saying is some real shit. That applies to people that don't have no protection. Meaning you're going in, you don't know the coaches, you don't know the players, you don't know you don't have the right agent. Because a lot of the times, a lot of the stuff that players go through is because they don't have the right agent. A lot of the stuff that Lamar Jackson unfortunately went through is because his mom was his agent. You needed, like, Lamar Jackson needed to get like a small hat to be his agent. And y'all know who I'm talking, the type of people I'm talking about. Sports in America is very, and that applies in Europe too as well. A lot of the stuff you'll see certain players get hated is because they have a certain agent that certain managers don't want to deal with. Oh man, particularly I remember the Manchester United manager, Alex Ferguson, because he was so egotistical, he would like not deal with certain agents, but that ended up fucking him later on in life because now that he's retired, there are certain agents that all they do is they just take advantage of Man U, or they use Man U as they'll tell their players, they'll sow fake transfer rumors regarding Manchester United to help their players get more money at their club during contract time. So, you know what I mean? Because Ferguson wasn't dealing with certain agents, and certain agents weren't particularly, they didn't like that. But anyway, I got off track real quick. Let me play this video one more time.
Your friend?
No. Wait, why not? He's like not cute. Like I don't want that for you. Don't say that. What? I don't want that for you. Like what fucking weirdo?
I'm not what?
Cute. You're not cute.
Oh.
Do you fucking think he's cute? I mean, sorry, like it's your own choice, but like I actually like won't talk to you anymore if you say yes. I'm sorry.
Like, this is first grade, second grade, third grade BS right here. I won't fucking talk to you if you think he's cute. Just because, and I'm pretty sure, I haven't seen the full video, but I'm pretty sure he asked out the Asian girl first and said, "Hey, can I go out with you?" And she was probably like, "No," but that gave her the ego boost. But he probably moved on. I was like, "Can I go out with your friend?" No. That's just wow. I'm sorry. That is really, that's something. That kind of, this is the stuff, like, people talk about strags, black women acting out, but stuff like that, this right here, that really irritates me. Behavior like this irritates me to like that. That's something that even if you're a woman, you got to look at that and be like, nah, that ain't it. Like this can't be life. But it basically shows, this is why there's only a certain percentage of men that can like get sex that's like, that are clapping most of the cheeks, because it's, if you're the average guy, how can you even get through that filter if you have a girl like that won't even just tell her friend, man, stop hating. So, like, I'll say this.
Can
The
I,
normies are just going to look at her as the villain, but I'll say this. She's a villain as well. Because really, if she really fucks with you, say if that guy was famous, or if he had some kind of clout, she'd be like, nah, fuck my friend. I'ma still go out with you. But she's not gonna take that risk, right? For a dude that she quote unquote doesn't know. But I'm saying this, if you that's how people want to say, how do I know if I have the right girl? If the girl that you got, meaning you told her I like you, right? And unfortunately, because women are women, and they're gonna go through their board of executive directors and then put your face in the table and just be like, oh, this guy, I'm interested in this guy. What do you guys think? And if they say no, but she still says yes and be like, fuck those guys, I'm gonna be with you. That will be, I will say that is one green flag for you as a man to say, okay, I can keep her. I can have her in my squad, right? She could be deserving of a number one spot if she's willing to go against her den of demons of friends. Is she, like, I remember somebody said, I think Rollo Tomasi said this. He said, is she breaking rules for you? That would be an indicator of, yeah, Rollo Tomasi definitely said that. Is she breaking rules for you? Is she going against her den of demons of friends to be with you? That is a green flag for you as a man, because most average men, like the average men, they can't even get that filter right there. They can't even get through that filter. And I believe if the woman's really into you, she really should not even supposed to be listening to those chickens. She ain't supposed to be listening to those hens. So that I agree with. Pyro said women are children. And I'll say this, they are. So look at it like this, guys. Like you'll even see it, like we always like we'll be at the carnival and we try to win the big teddy bear prize, and they'll just they'll be like 30 years old, and they'll be like, wow, my boyfriend won me a teddy bear. And it's just like they don't really grow up past 12, 13, and they resume growing up once they hit the wall. That's when they'll resume growing up. But once they get that attention at like 12, 13, they don't really mentally grow up from there until they hit the wall. Unfortunately, that's how it works. That's how it works, man. I gotta look into that channel. I gotta look into it. I think, because I'm pretty sure he probably said he asked her out first, and then as an experience said, how about your friend? And we already know most men have had that problem where just like you ask this girl out, she says no, and they're like, okay, what's up with your friend? And for some weird reason, women will get offended by this. But it's like, you don't want me. Why can't I be like, okay, what's up with your friend? How is that foul? Now you're gonna act, oh, okay. If it's not gonna be that friend, then you're gonna say, oh no, you can't go out with that friend. And because we already know what's gonna happen, I'm gonna ask you out. Okay, then I leave you alone. Then you're gonna be talking to your other friends, talking about, oh, this weirdo asked me out. Or you're gonna be talking to any girl that you know, so you can kind of X out this guy's chances with any other girl, because this is what women do, and they'll just be like, man, this weirdo asked me out, and or it's not even about axing out. You could just be like, you stuttered with a bitch, or you had a hiccup while you were talking to the 304, and then you move on with your life. You just happen to have a hiccup one day, and then lo and behold, this 304 done told like 3 or other 4 women that she likes or don't like but she's already done told 10 other women this dude got a talking problem or a speech problem. And you're just like, how did this get out there? And then you probably people don't even realize it, but then you do the research and then you're just like, oh, that's because damn, I stuttered when I talked with that one girl. That's the margin of error is very low for men when it comes to just dealing with women in general, because of the social sabotage women will do to certain men. And it's weird because you would think, okay, you'll just let the man take that L, but really especially if the guy likes to hang around the girl, she will definitely make it hard for him to find other girls because she wants that attention. She wants all that. I'm talking about she wants all your attention, even though she has no plans of reciprocating. She wants all the attention. So she's never going to let you move on. Shinobi One says, women always sabotage their friends' chances. Why? Because misandry loves company. Misandry is mainstream. It's just normal for misandry to happen. I just did a video about, I think, Michael Rain and him getting essayed on camera by the streamer's Tai sister. Like Tai sister in front of children were there. And Tai sister essayed a celebrity male in front of all of Tai subscribers, in front of millions. And it's just like they just don't. I'm talking about in front of everybody. There were kids there, and she felt comfortable. She just went right up to Michael and just the kid that was playing in Power, Michael Rain, I think his name is. He was on Tai stream with a bunch of other ninjas, and Tai's sister went straight up to him and essayed him in front of everybody. Apparently, it was so bad he had to leave right after. I'm like, and Tai's explanation right afterwards, it was appalling, absolutely appalling. Because good and damn well, if that was like Tai's brother, or if Tai had a brother and he essayed Halle Berry or somebody like Halle Bailey or something like that on stream, the guy would have gotten arrested, and Tai's career would have been over. Like, it's like I said, misandry is mainstream. It's normal to go on college, right? And then you'll hear a girl with pink hair talking about how white men are the devil and stuff like that, and how white men are the cause problem of everything, like, or just men in general are the cause of everything. And it's just normalized misandry. There's no way a man can just go on campus and talk about. I can barely even say single mothers are the problem. Meanwhile, women can literally just go on campus and just say, like, they'll talk about how all men should die and all this stuff. Like, they'll say stuff like this. And you'll like, even, the whole men versus bear thing. That's just open misandry. And by the way, I will never, I said this, I keep saying this every other stream. I was like, I will never do a video on that whole bear versus man thing. I will never do that, because that is the most stupidest thing that I've seen. One of the stupidest things I've seen on social media so far. And men, I'll say this, men are falling for the bait. Stop arguing with women over this. Like, you'll have men like drop like videos on bears killing certain things, or men or women, and he'll be like, and women think that they stand a chance. They know they don't stand a chance on a bear. Women just like to say stupid shit like that from time. Like, like, women will literally say, Like you'll have a girl and she'll like, right, you'll have a girlfriend and she'll ask you stupid questions where you can't win. Where she'll be like, if I turned into a worm, will she still love me? Will you still love me? And you're just like, what the fuck? And it's like a lose-lose. Like she's what did Patrice O'Neal say? He said you're graping my time when you when when you're forcing me to listen to you about nothing. You know what I mean? Like, so this, like, women will do things like that. They'll just say stupid stuff like that. Like, I remember, bro, like I remember there was a woman in my uncle's house eating up all my uncle's food. This was at a barbecue or something. And in front of my uncle, say that all Haitian men are this, whatever. And I'm like, my uncle is sitting right there, and you, they'll do this. Like women will do this. Like people don't understand. Like women will do this. Women will do that. They'll say stupid stuff like that. So I try to tell men, don't argue with them about that whole bear versus man thing, because this is what really happens in real life. What will happen in real life is a woman will not be paying attention really, and they'll realize they will literally run up on a bear without knowing. And once they're looking for help, they're gonna look for a man to step in and defend her from the bear that she walked right up on. That's how it usually works. So it's not a matter of would you trust a man or a bear? No, what kind of bull for bruh? Just a question in and of itself. That's why I can't do a video on it, because it's retarded. No disrespect, but it's like I'm not entertaining that. I'm not entertaining. Would you trust how about this? Would you trust your daughter with a man or a bear? And you're just like, and then you'll like see like the videos of like the simp husbands, right? You'll do this. Have you seen like this the videos of the simp husbands when like certain women will ask their husbands that same question, but the husband is so henpecked that he'll actually take it seriously, be like, I'll trust the bear, or whatever. And I remember one of the husbands, he was talking, that nigga sounded so gay. Like I was like, man, stop it. He don't count. I was like, he don't count. You know. It's like, but men be falling for the bait. They'd be like, don't you understand how dangerous a bear is? And look, women will they just do shit like they'll say shit like that. Like, remember the video that went viral where like the woman wanted to prove her point to her husband so bad, like they were at like a outdoor zoo exhibit, and it was like an outdoor zoo exhibit where the animals can actually walk around your car, and they were near where the tigers were, and the woman walked out of the car just because she was disagreeing with something that her husband was doing, that she put her whole family at risk. She walks out the car and she ends up getting attacked by a tiger. The grandma tried to help out and the grandma ended up dying. This is the stuff that women will do. Like women will say anything off of emotion. They'll say anything. They'll say anything. And it will not make any sense. Yeah, I'll trust the bear. They'll of course a woman they're gonna they're gonna say that. They're women. You know. Oh yeah, I saw that. The funny thing is that AJ just uploaded a video of a woman getting deleted by a bear. Yeah. So yeah, AJ was talking about that story. And I remember telling AJ when he told me that story, I was like, I hope to God that this woman was not influenced by that shit on Twitter. I was like, I hope to God she didn't think that, oh, I could just the bear isn't that bad. I really hope she didn't I really hope she didn't think that. But if we start seeing more bear attacks in terms of if we start seeing more women dying of bear attacks, then I'll realize we're in trouble. This is where I'm literally gonna be like, yo, we're in trouble. Because there should, like, you're not even supposed to be that close. You're not even supposed to be in a position where you're even close. But like I said, these are the same group of people, right? They complain about grape culture, but they like to be around the people that usually get in trouble for grape. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it'll be like they'll complain about college grape culture, yet all the women in there, when they want to, they always want to party with the athletes, the frat boys, and whoever's popular on campus. And these are the three groups of people that are usually accused of grape or are usually being accused of being a predator. And if not those people, it's always the male best friend. And we'll tell women, men and women can't be friends. Still don't want to listen to us on that. So, like I said, that I think most people got to learn the hard way, anyways. But like, I'll say this: women are. Like I said, this is the same group of women. They want to hang out. They'll have fake IDs growing up, fake IDs, so they can drink at certain bars, and then complain about how they get touched up on. There's all these predators at these spots, but they have fake IDs growing up. You're just like, okay, if there's all these predators at one spot, why do you have a fake ID? Because that's where a lot of the predators be at these clubs, these night bars, these pulled up. You want to be around these people for some weird reason, even though you complain about them being the most predator. I'm like, so why can't you deal with? They'll be in college, right? And they'll talk about grape culture. You got to teach men not how to grape. And you're just like, will they just shut up with this? Why don't you hang out with ninjas at the chess club or something? Why don't you hang out with people at the robotics club? They got all types of meetup, Facebook groups, WhatsApps, all types of clubs on college campus. But for out of all the people you want to hang with, the frat boys, the athletes, these are the people that they go out their way to party with. And when things go bad or things don't go their way, then you got to teach men not how to grape. You're just like, like you'll hear women say this, so you can't be shocked when women will say, "I'd rather choose the bear." Of course they're gonna say that. Of course they're gonna say that stupid shit. Pyro says, bears don't like people come near them. They even warn them by blowing their nose to back off. So yeah, I really hope 304s aren't really just like, oh, the bear isn't that bad. I really hope women aren't doing that. But I have a sneaky suspicion that you're going to start seeing a little bit more attacks. I'm not saying deaths, but attacks by bears on women. And then they're going to look at the situation like, whoa, how did this woman even get that close to a bear? And it's going to start being clear. Like, so it's going to be I think it might end up getting bad where it's like, they're literally going to have to put signs like, guys, there are bears in this area. Do not approach the bear. But Carlos X said they never hang out in my ping pong club besides a few Asian ladies. These 304s will be on college campus. They'll do they try to clout chase, try to jump from jock to jock to see if they can get anywhere with that. Then get a train ran on them consensually, and then when things don't go their way, meaning they feel regret, then they'll retroactively take back consent and then start getting certain football athletes in trouble. Then you find out this was all consensual. This will happen to the Sacred Heart girl. This is what this is where you always gotta wonder, forget college, for example. They'll talk about, it'll be like a random 304 from Wisconsin. And then she'll be like, I'm putting a lawsuit against Kanye West or somebody famous, right? And they'll be like, and nobody ever asked the question, okay, this girl is from Wisconsin. How in the hell is she in New York City, New York, at the La Quinta Hotel, right? Or one of these hotels at the Best Western, and you're in his room? How the hell do you end up there? like people don't ever like put two and two together. Like, how, like, I'm talking about, there are men that can't even meet their male celebrity idols that they look up to. How does a random 304 from God knows where, and out of all the places in the world she can be, she's in a hotel room with a celebrity, and now she's talking about something happened? What the fuck you think was gonna happen if you was in a hotel room? But like I said, I also believe that, a lot of women really think that they got the golden vajayjay. They think if they get their vajayjay on a certain Chad or Tyrone, they're gonna listen to them and take them seriously, but they don't realize it's like many of yous and so little of them. You have no leverage. So women will out leverage that game. They'll feel bad, and then they'll retroactively talk about, I take away my consent. That's what these 304s are going to do. All these 304s on seeking arrangements, they're going to be suing these dudes in the future. Like, I'm talking about, it's going to be 10, 15 years down the future. They're going to talk about their victims. Any woman that got flown out, once that shit gets called off, they're gonna start suing a lot of particularly Negro rappers. They're gonna be suing a lot of Negro rappers for flying them out, and they're gonna be saying, I got trafficked. That's basically the future. But yeah, shout out to Carlos X. They not. I'm like, okay, so why don't you make friends at a ping pong club? They don't want those type of friends. They think that's beneath them. They think that's beneath them. I'm not gonna hang out at my ping pong. That's not what they're looking for. They're trying to get the connect to one of these D1 athletes or whoever's the athlete or whoever's the Chad of the. That's what they want. They're not trying to be on no ping pong. They're not trying to even party. They're not even trying to party with these people. And what's good about these clubs, they have their own hangout sessions. They have their own parties, right? And you could just hang out with your ping pong people and have parties and have little hangouts and have Facebook group chats and all. You can have all that. But that's not what they want. That's not what they want. They want to, these 304s, they want to move up in the game. And they believe it's a lot easier when they can use their vajayjay. But once that doesn't work, they realize they completely out leveraged their peace leave, because that's all they have to offer. Because all they have to offer is their peace leave, and they realize they out leveraged it, then they start suing people. Carlos X said the movie Higher Learning lied to me. Hold up. Is that the movie? Is that what I think it is? Is that the movie that I think it is? Higher Learning. The one with Lawrence Fishburne and Omar Epps? Higher Learning movie. Yep, that's it. That's that movie, man. He said Higher Learning lied to me. First of all, that is an underrated movie. That is a great movie. I'll say that I do got to do like even though I'm afraid to kind of do that topic in terms of favorite this or favorite that. I do need to do like one of my top 5 out of the like top 5 or top 10 influential movies that I've ever seen. I gotta do something like that in terms of these are the best movies that I've ever seen. I do gotta do a top 10 of that. But remember, the last time I did like a top 5, like I did like a top 5 like influential Black people, I changed the question from top 5 black people. I said, these are the top 5 most influential black people in America. And I said specifically, I'm going to leave off the inventors and the scientists because there's a lot of black inventors and scientists that we actually owe a lot to, but it would just be it would be unfair because a lot of them are unknown. But I made my list, right? And I had like Malcolm X in the list, Elijah Muhammad. I had like 3 Nation of Islam brothers in there, right? And I had like one subscriber talking about, I thought this was an educated black channel. I'm unsubscribing. Just like, bro, I'm like, it's just a list that I just made. It's a top 5 influential list. I'm like, and he made his list. I'm like, I like your list too. I didn't say there was nothing wrong with your list. This dude unsubscribe over a list. So I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know if I could do that anymore. You know, because I thought it was cool to do like the list thing. Because I even remember I did the top 10 list of overlooked red flags in a woman. You know, that's still one of my favorite streams that I've ever did, when I did the top 10 overlooked red flags. And I remember what did I have, like number 1, I had smoking weed, women that smoke weed, right? And I put like some obvious ones in there, but then I put like some not so obvious ones. Like one of the ones that get overlooked, or I'm telling you, women that lie about their age, and women that any woman that had a fake ID in one point in her life, you, if you marry a chick like that, you wildin'. But I always say the top 2 overlook red flags when it comes to women to choose for long-term partnership, I always say, are women that smoke weed and women that went to college. And going to college meaning she stayed on campus. That's what I mean. She stayed on campus. I'm not talking about the ones that drive back and forth from home to college and then back home. That's different. That might be, you might be dealing with a girl that's on her hustle. Might be. But I'm talking about girls that stayed on campus. Especially like I knew girls that lived like 20 minutes from home and they stayed on campus. I was like, yeah. I'm like, you live 20 minutes from home. 20 minutes. I knew certain women that live like an hour from their home. They would make like, I know women that do 2-hour commutes from home to the college that they do. Like they were really on their hustle, like really on their hustle on really trying to get what they want done. And these 304s living 30 minutes from home, 20 minutes from home, talking about I'm staying on college campus. And also Red Pill Luffy on Twitter, he goes into depth in this, where he'll talk about like he'll even talk about like some real red, like really red pill stuff in terms of how women will always try to put themselves in a situation like when they're ovulating, they make sure they're away from their brothers, their dad, or their male cousins because these guys are going to put a kibosh on the guys that she really wants. So when she's ovulating and she's picking these interesting type dudes, or if she's picking a ninja and she's white, those guys are going to be like, nah, you're not going to be with that guy. So that's why they try to make sure they're in a space like a college where they can let their freak flag run while all the dudes that they wanted to try, you know. Oh, speaking of, let me show you guys something via YouTube, because I found this. This is why I say that particularly white nationalists or the white conservative types, they're too slow. They're just too slow. This is why I've done kind of like less and less videos about them, and I've just kind of, if I needed to address these people, I just address them via live stream, because I can do countless videos of these people just being stupid. Hold on for a second. Black superintendent attacked. Is that it? So did you guys see this when the white dude grabbed the dude, the black dude during graduation. Did y'all see?
Kathleen Eddy. It's her father disrupting her big moment. Sight. Look at the anguish on his daughter's face. Him out of camera view. It's a stunning sight. Eddy. Moments after she steps on stage, her dad bum rushes the superintendent, pushing him out of camera view.
So this is the problem I have with this, right? It's not just that, but I remember it was a black girl in the comment section that addressed this, and I was laughing because a lot of people missed it too, because the normies will miss these things. I'll be like, so she was like, this was a black girl in the comments. I shit you not. She said, wait, so you don't want a black superintendent to touch your daughter, but you're sending your daughter off to college? Yeah. I saw that comment. I was just laughing. I was just like, this is the stupidity of particularly like the white nationalists, the white conservatives. Like I'm like, okay, so you don't want the black superintendent dude touching your daughter, but you're gonna send her off to college where she's literally dude, I don't care. I'm talking about some of your favorite Caucasian conservative women, Trump loving, whatever, Ronald Reagan loving. If she went to college, she was on Ninja Salami. Trust me. I'm sorry. I saw too much. I know what these 304s be doing in college. I know what they be doing. This is what killed me about this. Because I remember seeing that comment on Twitter. I laughed because people didn't even because when the black girl had said that in the comment section, she was like, so it's like, you don't want the black superintendent dude to touch your daughter, but you're gonna send your daughter off to college. She's like, how does this make sense? And the reply to that comment was like, what do you mean send her off to college? And you're just like, like people don't know. People don't know. Like they'll like particularly Caucasian dads will do this. Like they're still sending their daughters off to college, even though I'm like, you do know, like the colleges are you're but like I said, let's keep it a buck. Those, so-called conservative dudes, they're being run by their wife too. That's why I don't really have respect for those guys. They being ran by their wife too, and they really can't tell their wife, look, I don't want to send my daughter to college. And on top of that, I don't know what it like. Dads, like just dads in general, they really think that their daughters are angels. Like these new dads coming up, they just think that their daughters can do no wrong. So they'll have like no idea that their daughter's a hoe. Like they'll have no idea that their daughter was doing all types of stuff when they was in college, on campus, with ninjas. I'm talking about they'll like this dad here, right? This is what kills me. Like this dad here will say, oh, I don't want him touching my daughter. And all this nonsense. And it's just like, bro. But then at the same breath, watch this 304 ends up at like what's a university with a lot of ninjas in it? Like she'll end up at like University of Cincinnati or a hood ass college. That's a hood ass college right there. Let me see. Wisconsin High. If she ends up at Wisconsin, she ends up at Wisconsin University. And bruh. And he's probably gonna let her stay on campus. You think she's not gonna mess with no ninjas? I mean, I'm actually helping the dude out. But we already know, like, dudes like that, they make no sense. That like they'll do actions like that, like embarrass their daughter by like saying, I don't want the black superintendent touching my daughter. get your big black hands away from my daughter. You're just like, but you're gonna send her to college. That makes perfect sense. that makes perfect sense. Now you've just guaranteed. I'm talking about like now you've just guaranteed it. Now, once her daughter goes on campus, she's gonna look specifically for a ninja. You just made it permanent. Like now she's gonna specifically look for a ninja, and she's gonna end up being a single mom. You just ended up the dad ended up just sealing her fate. That's what like I believe this. And people might disagree with me. Yeah, she's gonna she's like he said, I remember $2 beer night at the college bar. Carlos X says she's going to rebel. She's going to rebel, and it's gonna backfire so bad. It's gonna backfire so bad on her. It's gonna backfire so bad. she's gonna fall in love with a Pookie. She's not gonna fall in love with like a regular black dude. Like she's gonna fall in love with a Pookie. Hopefully she falls in love because she's gonna be looking for a black dude when she goes on college. So hopefully she can fall in line with a responsible black dude and not one of these ninjas running game and leaving her a single mom. But I hope the dad's prepared for that. Like she's gonna look for a black dude when she goes on college. She was gonna do it anyways, but like now you just you seal the fate. There's way too many white women that I've met or in high school where they'll just blurt out, oh yeah, like my dad doesn't like black dudes, and yeah. You just be like, I didn't ask for that information, but there's way too many girls I know like that. And I'm like, bro, like the like you can't let a specific group of dudes live rent free in your head like that. Like I don't think I need to remind white dudes that like this isn't even like a top shelf white woman. So like yeah, I could see her going out with a black dude, but she's not even like a top shelf white woman like that. Like she's not even like top shelf like that. So I could see her with a black man. But for the most part, black men don't even really select top shelf white women or even top shelf Asian girls. So I don't understand why you'll have like a certain demographic of white dudes that get mad if a black dude has a certain white girl. Because most of the times they don't really select the best. So if the rare times that they do select one of the best, shouldn't you just be like, hey, shout out to you? You know, there's too many hoes out there for people to still be caught up on, race on that end. First of all, women are not loyal to race. I hope people know. I'm talking to black dudes and white dudes, Mexican dudes, Asian dudes. Asian dudes will tell you, right? We got people in the war band here, so y'all already know what Asian dudes will tell you. Women are not loyal to race because we already know Asian women, they're looking for chads. And I've seen a couple of black dudes, I'll say a little bit more than I need to see, where it's just like, why are you complaining about Asian girls being with white dudes? Like it just is what it is. Just find some Asian bitches that fuck with you. There are plenty of Asian bitches that will fuck with you. Trust me. Plenty. Plenty. Like it's like there's a lot of 304s out there to be just caught up on just one race of 304s or one type of 304, But yeah, that video, because I remember seeing the comment on Twitter where she's like, so let's just we'll leave it at this. We'll just leave it at this. So this is gonna be the same dad that doesn't want the black superintendent touching her daughter, which is basically just gonna be a handshake. The same dad that didn't want the black superintendent to touch her daughter. This is gonna be the same dad that's gonna send her off to college. this is how slow the average like white nationalist or the average racist like white dude, that's how slow they are. That's how slow they are. And then you'll probably see like some comments on Instagram where it'll be like um a white woman or one white dude, one white girl saying that she doesn't want to date black dudes, and then you'll see in the comments like saying based, right? But I'm like, she probably has fucked ninjas before, and that's why she's come to that conclusion. It's not that she came to that conclusion because she honors her dad. That's rare. That's very rare. She probably came to that conclusion because she was messing with a couple of ninjas, and and it didn't turn out like as expected. Or she probably went out with one ninja, and that ninja just put a bad name for all ninjas, and she was like, nope, I should listen to my dad the first time. No more. Like, you know how like there are like a lot of escorts that will say, I don't deal with black men. But it's not because of what people think. It's like, it's not just in terms of, oh, you can't damage the merchandise. It's everything that comes with it. Them asking for discounts, right? Them trying to haggle prices with 304s, them asking the 304s, oh, why don't you work for me? You'll be my girlfriend and I'll have you work. You got the wannabe pimps trying to steal the other pimps. So there's other reasons why like escorts won't mess with black men on that end. But yeah, I'll be so cringe in the comments. It'll be like, if like a white girl says, I don't want to mess with a black dude or whatever, or say if like a woman had a choice between a white dude or a black dude or something, then that's when you'll see like in the comments, based. And I'm like, guys, women are not based. women are not based. You know, I know you might think, and even if she is going for a white dude, she's going for Chad. Brad, if she's like looking like as a last ditch effort. Brad as last ditch effort, but it's weird how you'll have a certain group of people that will brag about, let me take black dudes, for example, right? And I warned Chronic about this, about the black male simperies, the black male simping on Twitter, where you have these particularly these so-called FBAs, the self-proclaimed FBAs, where they brag about, oh man, like they act like that they're the ones fucking all the white bitches, and that like basically anytime a white girl is doing something is because, oh, they want to be around black dick and all. And I'm like, why are you bragging about other men's penises when you know you're not getting any, but you keep talking about dick this and penis that, and you're just like, you guys are not getting any either. But I told you, I did warn Chronic about that. It's this weird thing that black men do. I'm like, most 304s aren't even messing with most ninjas like that. It's just a small group of ninjas. And they might so happen to be blessed downstairs. So happen to be. But if you but it's like they like those black dudes, they think they're a part of that. So like it's the weirdest thing, but it's so then you'll have on the other side, you know, white dudes that they don't understand. Like, it's like you're like the number one dating preference worldwide for most spots, right? There's some spots in the United States where black men are number one, but unanimously is white men number one in terms of dating preference. But yet it'll be yet these same people, their whole Twitter, particularly the some conservative dudes, their whole Twitter is just them talking about what ninjas is doing. It's like, bruh, y'all don't got nothing else better to do, nothing else to talk about, but we got to talk about ninjas. we got. I'm like, bro, I'm talking about. It'll be like people. It's certain conservatives. I don't want to say their names, but their whole Twitter is about ninjas, and they're white. I'm talking about. It'll be a white male, and their whole Twitter is about what ninjas is doing. A small percentage of what of degenerate ninjas are doing. And then like I don't mind talking about those news, but I'm like, well, you know why where these people come from. A lot of those ninjas came from single mother led households. But at the same time, once you start going into the single mother problem, that means that man is going to have to start calling out single moms, and most men are too scared to do that. I'm talking about across all races. Across all races. Dudes just don't want to address the single mom problem. They just don't want they just don't want to address it. And they won't even go into that part, this very important part of the discussion of the cure. Because really, like those white dudes, they just want a virtue signal to their women. Like, you see, we're this is what we are. You know, like the more you make yourself the good guy and the more you make the opposition the bad guy, the more attractive you make that person to your woman. This is why, like, now you have like the pro-blacks are like shocked that they'll see other pro-black women sleeping with a lot of white men. And not only that, they'll sleep with a lot of older white men. And then those pro-black dudes, they'll be shocked. They'll be like, what? How could you? But like I said, like a lot of your favorite pro-black women that, and I'm talking about, I've heard certain pro-black women say crazy stuff to white dudes. And then meanwhile, she's like, there's this one woman I know, and I and I know she's getting fucked by an older white dude that we knew. Like I knew it. Like you could tell by his demeanor, he smashed. And I was just literally just oh man, I don't want to say when this was, because anybody that knows me or has been with me recently, they're going to know exactly who and when and what that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person too. The only thing is I'll drop a hint. I found this out. This was during my music tour. I found this out. So anybody that was on my music tour, they know who I'm talking about. Now, it's never been confirmed, but I'm just saying the demeanor, the deals that this woman got, what she was able to do, I was able to put two and two together. I was like, yeah, he's definitely smashing. Or he smashed a couple times back in the day, and like people underestimate like the old geezers, but they be smashing some of y'all favorite. These people think that these sugar daddies are just tricking in terms of like they really be smashing these 304s, and you don't even like. It'll be the dude at the wedding. Oh, you're gonna marry her. Oh, this is a wonderful lady, and you'd be like, who is this dude? Oh, that was my mentor from back in the day. and dudes will not put two and two together. I'm like, you probably tapped it a couple times, and he probably just needed it a couple times. He's like, I'm good. I'll help you out for the rest of your life. I'm good. Thank you for letting me smash. And then that guy is still a part of her life years later, still giving her money. Like that's a whole different part of the game that people don't even want to talk about. Let me see. I used to do well with Filipinos. Filipinas as a Latino. That makes sense, though. That makes sense. That makes sense. Carlos X said no AA. Like if people actually do like when you talk about Backpage, these sites, the other sites, but I'll stick with the Backpage example. They'll literally say no AA, and that's escort, short term for no African Americans, no ninjas. And like I said, a lot of ninjas have nobody to blame but themselves on that end. So. So Carlos X said there's a conservative comedian who does that. Anthony Cumia. Who's that? I gotta find out who that is. Because there's a lot of comedians that I just don't find funny in general, but he might be funny. You never know. But yeah, there's like these people where it's like ninjas live rent free in their head. You just but this is where my confusion comes in, right? It's such a small percentage of ninjas, really, in general. Like but the way certain white people will describe ninjas, you think that the population of ninjadom is way higher than it is. But maybe because I live in Connecticut, so I know that the population of ninjas is not that high. So maybe that's my thing, because I live in Connecticut, so I know the population of ninjas is not that high. They're only in certain spots, like in Bridgeport, New Haven, and maybe Hamden, and in Hartford, right? In these specific spots, you'll see a concentration of ninjas. But there's like, how many towns are there in Connecticut? How many towns in Connecticut? 149 incorporated towns. Yeah, 169 towns. Oh, no, sorry. That doesn't make sense. Hold on. How many cities? Or maybe that's the right. Yeah, 19 cities, 149 towns. Okay, that's all right. That makes sense. But like when you look at the map of Connecticut, right? Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, man, I'd be forgetting there. Yeah, in one state, there's like all these cities and towns. Let me look at the map of Connecticut, right? State of Connecticut. Open image in new tab. Yep. So, like I said, just in, I'm not going to say which counties, but out of all these cities and towns, I can only name like 6. Like 6 towns or cities where there's a lot, where there's a larger Black population. But most of the cities in Connecticut, like, you will be hard pressed. Like, I know I'm talking about most of the cities in towns in Connecticut, you'll be hard pressed to find like one Black person. I'm talking about, it would be like you can't even find one Black person in many towns and cities in Connecticut. So our population is not that big, but yet it's like always a topic of discussion. Especially on Twitter. It's really weird to me. Like it's like, even like I even found out, like, in the UK, the way that like the Daily Mail commentators would talk about ninjas in the comments. But then I ended up finding out that Black people only make up 6% of the population in Britain. I was like, what? I'm like, the way that they talking about it, they act like it's like 15 or 20% and it's growing. The way that they talk about it in Britain, you think it's like 20% and growing. Nope, 6% population in Britain. And you're like, So I'm like, oh, so when people are talking about there's a ninja problem, they're just talking about London and they're just talking about London. And what other place in England? They're probably only talking about South London, where it's probably mostly ninjas, right? You see, Anthony Cumia. So I haven't heard of this. Oh, that's Anthony Cumia from Opie and Anthony. Oh, okay. I know that guy. Wasn't that the same guy that said that like didn't he say that Flavor Flav was a crackhead or something? was that the same guy or was that Opie that said that? Like that's how like they have a very limited like frame on what ninjas can do. And I'll say this particularly, there's a lot of rappers that are just playing characters. They're not who they say they rap, like they're not who they rap about. They're playing character. They're playing a character. I'll bring up, for example, a Waka Flocka Flame. That's a very smart individual. He's just playing a character. Waka Flocka Flame. Who else? 2 Chainz. Very smart kid out of high school. Lil Wayne. People be shocked like when they find out he's written scripts for people on ESPN. He's writing transcripts. Very involved in a lot of writing, just in general. Just a great writer. Lil Wayne's a great writer. People don't even know this. A lot of the rappers, they just be playing characters. Who else is another smart like individual? But like a lot of these are particularly a lot of these rappers coming in, yeah, they're druggies, but a lot of those guys, they were born in the suburbs. like the new rappers coming in, they're like not a lot of them. I'm not even gonna say a lot. There's a good portion of them that they ain't never seen the streets. So I'm talking about the Migos, right? Those people, Takeoff, Quavo, right? Offset. These people, they've never even seen the streets. They've never not even come close to seeing the streets. You know. Let me see. Oh, so they got let's bring it back to because Anthony, that's Anthony Cumia from Opie and Anthony. I think that I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was the same guy that when he was talking about Flavor Flav, he didn't realize that like Flavor Flav was actually like, he's a pianist, a great musician, actually, just in general, a great marketing genius, and he knew how to play that character. Lil Jon. These people are very smart individuals. They're just playing a character. They're just playing a character. Most of them. Right, you'll do have your bipolar dudes like the Game and who else, like some real clown dudes, right, in the rap industry. But like a lot of these guys are very smart. 50 Cent, very smart, very smart, very, 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 very smart individual. Now, his education was literally from the streets because he was an actual street ninja. But that, like I said, street ninjas, street hood stuff and corporate stuff it's very similar. It's actually very similar. But most normies won't get the similar, like they don't understand like how a 50 Cent could come from where he comes from and then the rest of the stuff is a breeze. The hardest part that he's had to go through was his life. Once he realized, oh, I could legally do this instead of illegally do that. And it's basically the same thing that I was doing in the streets. But all I got to do is just put a suit on and do the same thing. Once ninjas start realizing how to do that, it's like a breeze for him. It ends up being let me see. He's always slamming black guys. Anthony, Like I know who you're talking about. Like Anthony. Well, that's like guys like that is just it's it's rent free. I can't even do nothing with the Anthony Cumia. I can't do nothing with it. But speaking of 50 Cent, like 50 Cent, like those guys, they end up doing so well in the industry because they realize the similarities between the street stuff that they had to go through and what the industry is. The industry, like people don't understand, this country is run off gangster stuff. All these, a lot of these restaurants that people like to enjoy this stuff, people don't understand. Those are mob owned. A lot of these spots is mob owned, and I'll give because a lot of people they don't see this, but maybe I'll give people a little bit of insight. And this is for black and white people, but there's a lot of people that they don't understand. Like these places are owned by former gangsters, former mobsters, or guys that were connected to the family, or guys that used to be in the streets, and then they use that money to to build a club. I'll give you guys an example on how to spot these things out. And this is an easy example. You don't, and this will be if you're out at a bar, at a club, right? Or a steakhouse or an establishment, and you see some random dudes outside the spot joking, laughing, but they happen to be they look like some big dudes, but they don't have no security guard uniform. They're just out there shooting dice, or they're out there laughing, joking. Well, people, if you see that outside that establishment, that's probably mob owned. Those are the gooners. Those are the people that make sure things don't pop off. Those are what you call hired help outside outside the establishment. That's a small hint for, okay, you might be dealing with an establishment where the place is probably financed or ran by a street ninja or a mobster. And I'm talking about the people, those dudes that you'll see outside the bar. They don't have no security thing on. I'm talking about they just out there joking, and you're looking at them like, what are those guys doing there? That's those are because I would like when I started gigging and I would go to certain bars. It'll be certain bars because most bars don't have that. But you'll see that a lot in like city bars. You'll have like some dudes right outside the bar, outside the establishment. But those guys are, I don't have to say it. They don't have no security thing on. You don't see their gun on them. They probably have it hidden, but they're there to make sure, even though they're outside laughing and kiki and they're not, and most of the times they're not even next to the security guards, because they're trying to make sure they're not next to that, so people won't put two and two together. That's more hired help to make sure the streets is straight. Hold on. Carlos X is about to show you guys something. So Carlos X, I'll tell you, it don't matter, a restaurant, a bar, it'll be a coffee shop. I've seen that too. It'll be certain coffee shops, certain establishments, and you see certain people. I'm like, oh, okay, I know what that is. I know what that is. That's the protection. That's the protection crew. Those are the people that come in. Those are the people on the protection payroll. The protection crew payroll. So whoever owns that block or whoever owns that establishment, they're there for protection reasons. So Carlos X said, my favorite coffee shop is like that. Bosnians. I wouldn't mess with any of them. And I'm pretty sure they're right outside the coffee shop. They joking around, kiki. They probably some funny ass people too. Trust me, these people be funny. You just be like, oh, they'll help you. They'll help you load your music stuff inside the It's funny because people don't see this. People don't see. you'll be talking with somebody that owns a wine lounge, right? And I'm not trying to snitch on anybody, but they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I lose money all the time with this thing, and it's all good." And the money that they have, you're like, how did he just have the money like that where he's losing money off the wine lounge? He's never gonna make a profit off it, and he's still got those Mexicans out there working, making a whole. He's still expanding the the lounge, and he's losing. I'm like, this man had money to blow. I wonder what he did in his past life. You don't ask that. You don't ask that. Some people they just don't put two and two together, because I know restaurants like this. I've played at restaurants like this. You got there's certain guys that will have outside, and I'm like, oh, I know what those people are. And I'll say this, a lot of people know that in terms of the people that go out, they'll know. They'll be like, yeah, that's just hired help. But I think most normies, they'll look at that and they'll just be like, oh, those are just some random people outside. No, that's protection help. That's the hired protection. By the way, even this is like what people don't understand with these small businesses. A lot of times they'll be doing good, but they'll be on a certain block, and then they get that visit from one of these mobsters and his people, and they'd be like, they come in there. The guy won't even be big. The guy will be like 5'2", 5'3", 5'3", 5'2", Jewish or Italian dude coming in. It's a nice establishment you got here. Obviously certain things happen on this block, and I run a protection firm things too, and you'd have to give us 5 or 10%. Okay, you disagree. You say, I don't need the protection. Next week they wait until you got like a grand opening or a grand reopening or a big event happening at your thing. Then they sent one of their people to mess it up. Now these people come back to your spot, and now you're like, damn, now I need the protection. And then you're like, oh, the 5% fee up is really 15% now. Thank you, and have a good day. So when those people come in the first time, you can't refuse them, unless if you want the kickback protection fee to be like 15% or 20% of your shit, which is basically going to end up bankrupting your business. It's going to bankrupt your business. Like I'm trying to tell people, like mobs, these people, the mafia, these people, they haven't gone anywhere. They just do different things now. They own restaurants. They got their own bars. Carlos X said they always eyeball me. I know what they're doing. We know. But like I said, it's not even a matter of, because some of these people, they'll really joke with you. Maybe that's because I'm playing music and then you're just going into these spots. But like I said, you got these people then, or you'll have like, you always obviously you'll have the hidden bodyguard inside the bar, and something goes off. Somebody try to do something with the bartender, he gonna pop out of nowhere like a shadow con. So obviously you have that, but like those people outside. Now I'm not talking about the security. It'll be like the random dudes that you see like to the side, joking it and laughing, having a good time. That's, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's not even, it's like when you mature, you understand how the world works. Well, not understanding but you see the things that you were missing before. You're like, oh, okay. It's not even a matter of, oh, these are gangsters. It's just, that's what they are. Now you got like certain pubs, they don't need all of that. But don't underestimate that doorman. You'll never know how long you have. Like, I don't know, this Irish pub in New York City. Even though the doorman was nice as hell, I know for some weird reason he's got that Alfred from Batman vibe to him. I feel like I cannot fuck with this guy. I feel like this guy was like one of those protection dudes back in the day, or was like a real gangster from back in the day, and he's he's a doorman, at this establishment that he likes, that he used to do things for. He looks like one of those guys, like, you cannot fuck, even though he come up as normal, very hospitable, open the door for you, but there are certain people that they pay their dues to the life in other ways. And I can tell he was definitely one of those guys. Like I said, the mob hasn't gone anywhere. The mob hasn't gone anywhere. So let's listen to Shannon Sharpe and his opinion about what's going on with Caitlin Clark being snubbed from the national team.
At some point in time, we stopped talking about we trying to grow the game. Because you got listen, is she as accomplished? Will she ever be as accomplished as a Stewie? Obviously, they're slam dunk. They're the two best players in the WNBA, hands down, and it's not even close. But are we really trying to grow the game? Because this is the most popular women's basketball player in the world, and it ain't close. They had to move.
So fair use. And also, it's interesting because Shannon Sharpe was talking about on First Take how the USA Olympic team, they're doing a massive disservice by leaving out Caitlin Clark. And then you got the pro blacks. Like I said, the pro blacks are never to be pleased. Like they're never, it's like you can never be, it's never enough with these guys. So now they were calling Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith coons, right? For just for saying that Caitlin Clark, in terms of being left off Team USA, they think it's just the wrong idea. And they're looking at it as, oh, all these black men caping for this white woman. And you're just like, they're just trying to be objective and just But right now, like I said, it's other women sabotaging the WNBA's growth right now. And let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Caitlin Clark is not on the Team USA's because right now there are certain veterans on Team USA who are currently playing for Team USA or part of the Olympic board or are part of the women's selection process. They're player haters. This is like, to me, Caitlin Clark is a victim of player hating right now. That's what's really going on. That's really what's going on, in my opinion. Because it's pretty clear from a marketing standpoint and even a playing standpoint, it's a no-brainer. I don't care who I got to kick off. I'm getting Caitlin Clark on that team. I don't care who I'm kicking off. I'm getting Caitlin Clark on that team. It's going to be a different set of eyes. I need that different set of eyes. And like I said, when Caitlin Clark is bringing in money, it's going to help all the women. But the women just don't get it. And earlier I was talking about this where I was saying, American sports in general and what the women are finding out now that WNBA is mainstream, they're starting to find out that really male sports is not this meritocracy thing. They're doing things for ratings and ad dollars as well. So like I said, if you want a taste of that money, the men's money, you're gonna have to sacrifice your pride a little bit. You're gonna have to sacrifice the way that you think about certain players because Caitlin Clark is the cash cow. And when you have a cash cow, you gotta make sure it's on display. You gotta make sure it's being well taken care of, and you gotta make sure the cash cow isn't hurt. And the women in the WNBA, they don't get that. Like, bro, it's because of of Caitlin Clark that the WNBA is at the place of where it's at. I'm not saying Angel Reese had nothing to do with that, but let's keep it a buck. This is about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the reason. But I'll say this, man, all the hype about Caitlin Clark, the Angel Reese, the conservatives fighting the pro-blacks on Twitter. Now, it's funny because you'll have a segment of anti-Caitlin Clark people, but to be a real anti-Caitlin Clark person, you have to know what you're talking about when it comes to talking about other players. And then vice versa. If you're like pro Caitlin Clark and you feel like that the WNBA is being racist towards her or whatever, now these people know each other's stats. Now I'm talking about, you see like analysts now spewing out WNBA player stats, and you're like, bro, the WNBA, they've come so far. But like I said, they can't mess up this Caitlin Clark thing. They can't mess this up because this is their ticket out of poverty. But what they have to understand with normie eyes, because that's what they want. They want the normies money. They want the ad dollars that come with the normies and the casuals that want to join your sport. Now, when you're dealing with the casuals and the normies, you're going to have to deal with stupid reporters, right? So I was showing that video earlier of that one of the WNBA players that had to basically shut down one of the reporters because the reporters was being an idiot. One of the reporters was doing what reporters do, being an idiot. Carlos X said they're addicted to poverty. Like, it's that mindset. That mindset is wicked, man. It's just that mindset that a lot of these 304s have. They just, it's crazy. It's just like, what are you gonna do with that mindset? Okay, so before I sign off, because I've already said what I had to say about Caitlin Clark, like people want to talk about, but she's not one of the best players, bro. She's still a good player. She's still basically en route to becoming the best player. Olympics, they never always pick off of merit. And like I said, I do believe in meritocracy, but I believe exceptions need to be made for exceptional players. And Caitlin Clark is an exceptional player, and the WNBA is in an exceptional situation where the WNBA could really put their mark on things. So that's just a massive, money opportunity miss. That's just a massive marketing miss. That's a massive miss, in my opinion. But anyway, I want to show you guys something before I sign off, because I've seen the video gone viral, and I'll probably do a video on it later today when I do my edit.
17 and a half.
So this is going to be a woman talking about how she's been with her husband almost 18 years, and he didn't do this one thing for her, and then once he moved on, he did the one thing that she was asking for the second wife. But I want to hear what she has to say, and I'm gonna kind of call her out with this video.
17 and a half years married, 4 kids. I begged this man, please, kid, I've never been out of the U.S. Can we please go out of the U.S.? No. I get a text from him 5 minutes ago. What does it say? Hey, I need your permission. It's in the planning, but me and Erin, his fiance, are taking her kids and he wants to take Kylie to Mexico. 17 and a half years. And now you're giving this woman everything that I begged you for. 17 and a half years married, 4 kids.
Now, she's talking about this like she's a victim. And now, like I said, most of the normies are going to fall for it because they're normies. Now, unfortunately, the way I'm built, and it's to my detriment because sometimes I feel like I bring the fire to the wrong people. But in terms of in real life, I'm talking about in real life. But I'm going to ask you questions, whoever you are. I'm going to ask questions, and I just hope, but people just they take it offense, like they take offense to it when I ask certain questions. So in this case, first thing I'm going to ask her, okay, who divorced who? That's like one of the things I'm gonna, and like I said, you got to answer this correctly because women be lying on this app. They don't, they just don't tell the full story. Now, I'm gonna assume that you divorced him because we're gonna go by the stats. We're gonna go by the stats. Almost 80% of women file for divorce. Right? And then let's hear the language that she used. Watch this.
I begged this man, please, kid, I've never been out of the US. Can we please go out of the US?
So this is another thing. This is that was the main part I want to address. That's one of the main parts I wanted to address. When she says begged, I can tell she was nagging. She was definitely nagging. And for some reason, women think they think that their husband is there to just be nagged at. That's what they believe. Like, they just believe that their husband is just there just so they can nag at them. So I'm pretty sure you was nagging at him just so he can take a vacation. Now, this is something he doesn't, in terms of a vacation out of the US. So this is awfully specific. So I'm pretty sure he's vacationed in other spots in the US and you just was not grateful about it. Now, I will say this, particularly I know how men work on this case. The more you keep nagging that man to do a certain thing, the less he's gonna the less that he would want to do it, for you. Because you keep on nagging him about it. If you keep nagging on your man you keep dropping hints, oh, when am I gonna get married? Or it would be nice if I could move in, the less he's gonna really want to do that for you. I know that's how I work as a man. The more you keep nagging on me to do certain things, it's gonna have an adverse effect. Because at the end of the day, most people know what to do. And first of all, he probably already was vacationing, already taking the kids places. Now, her talking about begging, and this is what triggered the video, was just him phone calling, giving a phone call to her about him and his situation of him, flying out with his fiance. Now, like I said, one of the kids is going to be involved in terms of he's going to bring one of the kids on with the vacation. So one of the kids, they're cool with it. They're clearly cool with it. That's why he asked you. Because if the kid wasn't even cool with it, he wouldn't even have brought it up. he would have just, he was like, oh, I already know this 304 is gonna lose her mind if I he already know. He's like, man, this girl's gonna lose her mind once she finds out that I'm flying out with my fiance and her kids. So if the kid didn't want to even be involved in that, he wouldn't even have called her about it or even let her know about it or even post pictures, because he knows she's gonna go ballistic, cuckoo. And I'm pretty sure people talk about, oh man, and then you're gonna see in the comments, this is why I don't want to build with a man. If he wanted to, he would. Like that, which is first of all, that's a very toxic thing to say. If he wanted to, he would. But it's not gonna help things if you're constantly nagging on a man to do something. It doesn't help. Like I'm telling you, I don't know why women do this. They think just nagging a dude to do something, yeah, he'll eventually do it, but it's not going to be the same. Meaning he really doesn't want to do it, but he knows if he doesn't do it, it's going to be a constant irritant in his ear if he doesn't do like that one thing. He was probably, like I said, I'm pretty sure he did everything else right in this marriage, but that one thing he didn't do, which was like not fly out his wife out of the country. So she's gonna hold on to that one thing, which is a luxury thing. Like, this is just luxury, right? And if her energy was genuine about wanting to fly out for good reasons, he would have done it. He would have done it. But like I said, like, when you talk about pure intentions, you constantly nagging, because she's acting like she begged him, like she was on her knees, and I'm like, I'll do anything to do. No, she was just completely nagging, because we all know how women work. She was nagging and nagging and nagging. And that wasn't the only thing that she was nagging about. She was nagging about things that don't matter really in the grand scheme of things. And that's why he probably moved on. Even though I'm pretty sure she divorced him, but in terms of moving on, yep, I understand why he would want to move on from you. So now everybody, is on her side saying, if he wanted to, he would. He's not a real man. So somebody said you divorced him, moved on, you ruined the marriage. That's why I got. I'm pretty sure she divorced him, because we all know the statistics. We all know the statistics. We all know the statistics. So according to Juan Ton Wonder, apparently he looked into her story on YouTube. Apparently she divorced him. Okay, I'm gonna take his word for it, because it actually has less likes than that. That means he really did the research. Because people just go by most likes. Nah, I look at the genuineness. Somebody says, so he says, search on YouTube, woman divorced 17 years, and it should be the first video. You can decide what led to the divorce. Woman divorced 17 years. Let's see if she pops up. Let's see woman divorce 17 years. Oh, this is it.
Video from Alpha Anthem. Woman divorces husband of 17 years, which she now regrets. Many such cases.
How are we supposed to balance?
Fair use.
And it's even infecting older women.
Because I was so
that he didn't really want to do it for you. It very well may be that simple. It's also very possible that he's now in this situation to where
18.5 years married, 4 kids. I begged.
Oh yeah, also she's using a filter and makeup. Yeah, first of all, she's probably lying about a couple of things.
Because they didn't want to be associated with me anymore because I walked away.
Oh. So you see, this is the full video that I'm watching right now. So that's where he got the information. I'm like, where is he getting the other information from? So right here. Hold on.
No. I get a text from him 5 minutes ago. What does it say? Hey, I need your permission. It's in the planning, but me and Aaron, his fiance, are taking her kids and he wants to take Kylie to Mexico for spring break. And I said, because he needs my permission to do that. And I said, absolutely, it's a great experience for her. Just please watch her, have fun and be safe. But it's really, really hard for me because it's like 17.5 years, 4 kids. And I begged you to take us or to take me and to do those kinds of trips and to spend that kind of time with us.
And I'll say this, because I live in the suburbs. Women will nag on their husbands for, like, I'm talking about he'll have everything covered, and women will nag on just like the particular things that are not emergencies to do, but they won't admit that, I was being a nag for 17 years. You know what I mean?
And it was always no. And now you're giving this woman everything that I begged you for. Everything I begged you for, you are giving to her. People do.
All right. So no, she's the one who added that like sad music in the
Fair use.
background, by the way. She's trying to create a narrative, a message. She needs to do some thinking, and I'm not trying to attack her, but it's on his tail. Like, why aren't you doing this? You should be doing this. Do this for me. Do this for me. And it's probably the fact that he didn't really want to do it for you. It very well may be that simple. It's also
like I said, if you nagging a man like a real man, I'm telling you, it's the less he's gonna want to do it for you. If you just keep nagging, that doesn't help. It doesn't help anything, man. I'm telling you, dude, like, or I just think that just in general, the more you keep pushing for certain things, and if you don't work in silence, the less you're not gonna get it. Like, for example, are you more as a man, right? And I'm not comparing women to homeless people, right? But I'm just saying, like, are you more apt to give your money to the man that's constantly begging, or if you just see a man that just has his cup out and he just looks shocked? That nigga just looks shocked to hell, and you're just like, well, he looks fucked up. He's not even saying anything. He just has his cup out. Or you'll see the dude, he's not begging. He's like playing a music. He's playing he's doing something, playing a ukulele or playing a guitar or something. And he's not begging for money. He just has the guitar case out. You can tell he's homeless, but he's just playing for money. And you're more apt to give it to that guy because he's not begging for money. He's just doing what he do. There's a lot of men operate like that. They're not trying to hear that begging shit. They really not like, and especially if you're a wife and you just keep nagging and you keep nagging,
very possible that he's now in this situation to where he can do these things for this woman. She's saying this woman didn't stick it out, and now she's kind of seeing what happens. Fortunately or unfortunately, however she wants to look at it. Obviously, it's unfortunate in her eyes. She now gets that. And obviously, she wasn't there for the come up, and now she just gets to enjoy the benefits of this man's financial liberty. This woman didn't stick it out, and now she's kind of seeing what happens when you jump ship too quick.
So, apparently, like the guy was saying in the comment section, he was right. This girl, she was the one that initiated the divorce because she wasn't getting what she wanted and what she deserved, So
quickly, or when you're really just in it for the trips and the luxury travel and the money.
Do that because they want to feel heard. They want to know that they're validated for feeling the way that they're feeling, that it's not right and it isn't okay. And it confirms my choice to divorce was right. Even though
you see right there, the narcissism came out. She's like, you see right there, what he did is this shows that it shows that my decision to divorce him was right. You see? I knew it. So the way they cut off that clip, because they knew if they added that part of where she's like, I knew my decision to divorce him was right. If they know if they added that part, they knew they would have lost everybody. They would have lost everybody. Shout out to Wonton Wonder for doing the research for me. And for me, obviously I got to do a fact check, but he was awfully specific. I was like, I think this guy's telling the truth. As soon as I saw search on YouTube, women divorced 17 years, and he was very specific, I'm like, oh, I think he's right. I think he's right. But like I said, I'm like, if you look at the statistics, I'm pretty sure she broke up the marriage just because she wasn't getting her way. And I'm not going to stick this out. My years, you took my younger years away from me. Yo, man. I'm sorry, man. These women be having me laughing. Oh, shit. Clem James said 14,000-pound elephant, 4 kids over 17 years. Where was the money coming from? All she had to do is stop being what we know today's women to act like. 5 more years could have made the difference. Literally 5 more years. You know, but like I said, you know, women, they just want things their way. That's it. You know, and they could have been with you the whole time, but they just won't stick it out those last 3 years or 2 years where you would have been straight. But what also another thing that, you know, what a lot of men won't admit, but a lot of their women are actually holding them back financially. So he was probably able to do some things while she was out of the picture, even though he probably lost half his stuff and all that nine. But you'll be surprised how quickly a man can recover compared to the average broad that's still robbing the man that she used to be with. You know. But yeah, let me bring up, before I leave, let me bring up that TD Fakes soundbite that I got on my let me bring up that TD Fakes soundbite. The full one.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and I would have.
Oh man. But let me finish this video. Let me finish this video, and then I'll bring up TDJ.
I'm the one that was shamed, and I'm the one that lost friends of 15
By the way, she initiated the divorce. No surprises there.
years because they didn't want to be associated with me anymore because I walked away.
Yeah, because they're looking at you like, why would you walk away? And the only thing you complain about is, I wanted to do this trip. I wanted to travel. I wanted it to be like the girl from Aladdin or whatnot. Stop. You divorced him for no reason, bro. That's why they're literally looking at you like,
it's just so hurtful. It's so hurtful.
But that's the you left him. So why are you, whatever he does with his new thing, whatever he's doing with his new piece, that's none of your concern.
When the person that you love and just you see them give somebody else everything that you ask for, and they turn around and give it to somebody else. And maybe it's because he's giving it to her because he
that's so somebody says anyone who puts a divorce publicly with emotional music complaining that they didn't get enough holidays is a narcissist. Yeah, those are just facts. those are just facts. TD Jakes. All right, let's look up that video real quick. Jake swallowed up. Though I need the full video. The full video is hilarious, man.
Come out the closet and stop keeping a secret and let the world know if it had not been for the Lord that was on my side, I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you were at your wit's end? That is my point of view.
That laugh he do at the end. I'm like, yo, this ninja knew what he was doing there. He knew what he was doing there. This ninja evil. This ninja is evil. I would have been. You hear the organ in the background? These ninjas. I swear, them ninjas in the music ministry, these ninjas be fools, yo. These dudes be the funniest people I've ever met in my life. These people, like in the music ministry, they be acting a fool on the talkback mics. They be saying anything, man. Yeah. These ninjas be saying anything on the talkback mics. They be saying anything. I gotta go back to that part.
I would have been, I would have been, I would have been, I would have
been. Yo, he should have never had that on the internet, man. He should have never had that on the internet. That thing is that soundbite is wild. And then like right 5 seconds before that, talking about come out the closet, prancing around the stage with a purple moo on. They say he got a purple moo on. Oh man.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you were at your wit's end? That is my point of view.
Yeah, that man. This ninja a deviant. This ninja a sexual deviant, man. This ninja is a sexual deviant. Man. Somebody says saying come out the closet and then going on to say, have you ever been swallowed up? Have you ever been through a time of swallowing in the most zesty way possible is diabolical work. I would have been. That's yeah, that's just wild. That's wild. But yeah, you should hear this like on the church, the church talkback mics when the musicians are talking to each other during the performances. That is the funniest stuff you will ever hear. Like if the recording audios of the talkback mics went public of the guys in the music ministry, if that stuff went public, these people would get fired. These people would get fired. Because some of the stuff on a few times I've heard, or just being a part of it and hearing the stuff that's on the talkback mics, yeah, these people are funny. Like just like it's not I'm not church funny, like real ninja funny. They be saying the ninja word, they be cussing. They be going in, man. They definitely go in. But yeah, I think that's all I have to show for today because it's about to hit 3:00 on my end. But yeah, I got a lot of videos coming out tomorrow. I did have that one today of the Asian girl and the Jewish girl, But like I said, yeah, a lot of the women they player hating on Caitlin Clark, particularly a lot of the black girls. They won't admit it. But they've been player hating. They've definitely been player hating. I got a lot of nice saved videos in the vault, bro. I got the Dr. Umar Johnson video tomorrow coming out when he was talking about dark skinned ninjas cooning more than now than ever before. I got that video coming out to later on today. So that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I got a lot of videos coming out. I got a lot of videos coming out today. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very very interesting. Whoa, I'm seeing some interesting stuff in my vault. I might oh man, I'm seeing some interesting stuff in my vault. I'm about to put a lot of stuff out there, man. You know. But yeah, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Pyro. You know, yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad to make your day. I owe somebody an apology once I go out playing again. I think I yelled at the wrong person. Looking back, not yelled, but I was like, yo, don't, you know. And he offered his hand an apology, and I turned it away. And then I ended up going back up to him and apologizing again. Sorry, shaking his hand and apologizing, but you know, I got to work on that. I like to lie to myself that I don't have an anger problem, but I do. I still have an anger problem. But yeah, shout out to you guys, Carlos X, Clem James that came through at the end. Anybody from the War Band, Garrett Grant, Shinobi One, man, shout out to you guys. Trevor, if he's listening, sometimes he goes watches, but he be having work sometimes. So shout out to Trevor. But yeah, man, shout out to you guys. Educated Tyrone, my guy. Keep hitting me up via Instagram because you know he be putting me on to some interesting stuff, man. Shout out to you guys, and I'm going to sign off here, man. Thank you, man. Shout out to you guys, man.